Jenny Han's The Summer I Turned Pretty, How a Quiet Your Novel Became a Cultural Phenomenon, and Why the Movie Will Break Our Hearts All Over Again. When Jenny Han first sat down to write The Summer I Turned Pretty back in the late 2000s, she couldn't have predicted the way her little trilogy would one day bloom into a full-blown cultural moment. At the time, young adult fiction was having its heyday. Stephenie Meyer's Twilight was dominating bookstores, Suzanne Collins was introducing the world to Katniss Everdeen, and John Green's novels were about to sweep Tumblr feeds everywhere. In the middle of it all, Han quietly released a sun-soaked love story about a girl named Belly, two brothers, and a summer that changed everything. It was 2009. Social media wasn't yet the fan-powered megaphone it is today. TikTok didn't exist. Streaming platforms hadn't taken over living rooms. And yet, Belly's story resonated. The trilogy didn't just sell copies, it burrowed into readers' hearts and stayed there. Looking back, even Han herself marvels at how different the landscape was. I wrote the first book in 2007, 2008. It was such a different landscape then, she told the Television Academy. Hollywood was interested even back then, but she made the gutsy call to hold onto the adaptation rights. That decision would change everything. I'm really glad I did, because then I was able to adapt it myself, she said. That patience paid off. Because when The Summer I Turned Pretty finally arrived on Prime Video in 2022, it didn't just land, it exploded. From your niche to global obsession. The series has been nothing short of a phenomenon. At first, fans of the books were excited to see their beloved characters finally come to life. But what happened next was bigger. The show crossed generations. Teenagers binged it and tweeted their heartbreak in real time. Millennial readers who once clutched the paperback on the beach revisited the story with nostalgia, now watching with a glass of wine in hand. Even parents got hooked, drawn in by the layered storytelling and the way Han weaves not only Belly's coming of age but also the parallel storylines of the mothers and their enduring friendship. I've always seen it as a cross-generational kind of show, Han explained. You have people watching who remember what it was like to be young and in love for the first time, and then you have people experiencing it for the first time. There's something there for everybody. She's right. That universal thread of first love, heartbreak, and growing up is what keeps viewers coming back. Belly, Conrad, Jeremiah, and the internet's favorite debate. The heart of The Summer I Turned Pretty is, of course, the love triangle. Belly, played by breakout star Lola Tung, finds herself caught between the brooding Conrad, Christopher Briney, and the warm, golden-hearted Jeremiah, Gavin Kosalegno. It's a setup as old as storytelling itself, yet Han manages to make it feel fresh, messy, and painfully real. Every glance, every kiss, every silence feels weighted with meaning. And the internet has responded exactly as you'd expect, with endless debates, shipping wars, and heated TikTok edits that rack up millions of views. Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah isn't just a fan preference, it's practically a personality test. People dissect scenes frame by frame, argue about who really understands Belly, and cry over every cliffhanger. But Han herself doesn't let the noise dictate her writing. My North Star is always what I think is best for the story, she explained. There's a balance of giving the audience what they're craving, but also honoring what you feel is right creatively. Taking control of the narrative. One of the most fascinating aspects of this adaptation is Han's direct involvement. Unlike many authors who hand off their books to studios and hope for the best, Han rolled up her sleeves. She didn't just oversee the show, she co-showruns, executive produces, and even directed an episode herself. Her directorial debut came in Season 2, Episode 5, and it wasn't just any episode. It was the episode, Conrad's Point of View, the Peaches Scene, and one of the most tender sequences of Belly and Conrad's complicated connection. He's a more insular character, one who has a lot going on in his brain but doesn't necessarily speak a lot, Han explained. I was really excited to give the audience that peek into his perspective. It was a bold move, and it worked. Fans praised the episode for its emotional depth and for finally letting Conrad's inner world come through. The music that became a character. Of course, you can't talk about The Summer I Turned Pretty without talking about its soundtrack. From the very beginning, Han and her team knew that music would be more than background noise, it would be a character in its own right. Taylor Swift songs became the emotional anchor of the show. The release of each new trailer with a Swift track sparked trending hashtags, millions of views, and even speculation about which deep cuts might show up next. Han directed episode 5, she shifted the vibe. Instead of modern pop, she leaned on classics, Otis Redding, the Jackson 5, Fleetwood Mac, the Rolling Stones. Because the episode was from Conrad's perspective, I wanted it to have a different sound, she said. It worked. The music mirrored his interior world and gave the episode a timeless, aching quality. Belly, flawed, human, real. So much of the show's success rests on Lola Tung's shoulders. Han still remembers being floored by her audition. Belly is a character who stumbles, missteps, and makes choices that drive fans crazy. But she also shines, learns, and grows. Belly is a character who makes a lot of mistakes, and it had to be someone the audience would keep rooting for, Han said. Lola has something that makes you want to root for her. That relatability is why fans argue so passionately online. Belly isn't perfect. She's a mirror of what it feels like to be young and unsure. And while some call her unreliable, Han disagrees. I think she only has the perspective that's available to her. It doesn't make her unreliable, just limited. It's unique to her own experience. Season 3, the ending, and what comes next. When Season 3 wrapped, fans were left reeling. Han had already warned that the show's ending wouldn't be a carbon copy of the books. That choice sent shockwaves through the fandom, with theories flying and emotions running high. Some loved the changes, others braced themselves. Now, the next chapter is even bigger, a feature film. Han herself will direct, giving her the rare opportunity to bring the story full circle, from page, to screen, to cinematic finale. She's not intimidated by the leap from TV to film. She's done it before with Netflix's wildly popular To All the Boys I've Loved Before movies. And she's confident this story deserves the same treatment. I'm most excited to be able to really sink into the story and do it justice, she said. TV time can be limiting. With the movie, we can really tie a bow on it all and give the fans the ending they've been waiting for. Why the Summer I Turned Pretty matters. At its core, The Summer I Turned Pretty isn't just about first love. It's about growing up. About losing people you thought you'd never lose. About the way friendships stretch, break, and sometimes heal. About the bittersweet magic of summers that shape who we are. Jenny Han captured that feeling on the page 15 years ago, and now she's captured it on screen for a new generation. The fans who once read her words under the covers with a flashlight are now sitting on the couch watching with their daughters. That's the definition of timeless storytelling. A movie on the horizon, one thing is certain, we're not done crying, debating, or falling in love with Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah. Not yet.